Hi everyone. Today I would like to share some profound thoughts based on my personal experience. This week's reading material and my understanding and the gospel in my life, like consolidation is not just a philosophical concept, it's also a practice of past trauma, accepting ourselves imperfections, facing and finding balance in interpersonal relationships and the environment. I hope my sharing can bring some inspiration to everyone. The Court, Part 1. The Court of the Reconciliation with oneself. I understanding reconciliation first of all the relationship with the past, present, and future of my life many times, and there were traumas and regrets in our hearts. These pains may come from rebuilding a family, personal failure, and the harm of others' lives. And when reading the colors, F. Cardosar Orlando's mission, the essential guide, he emphasized that the core of the gospel is the relationship that God actively established with human beings and invites them into his love. This makes me realize the solve and the first step of the problem, which is the unconditional acceptance. In the form of the acceptance, healers can handle our internal journey. In my life, I have learned to face the trauma and acknowledge their existence. Reconciliation is not to erase these pains, but to choose not to let them continually control our emotion and decisions in the future. And as Jacqueline Levi's mentioned in the Everyone's Loving Yourself Unconditionally is the beginning of the healing. Accepting your own imperfections and even excessive demands can make peace in yourself. Part 2. Reconciliations with others focus on the challenge we face in our life. And we are often facing the biggest challenge. Here, I want to share my personal experience. Once I started business with a friend, and we thought that our common faith, because he's Christian, and will make us more united. However, as the company grew and this friends was blinded my worldly interest and even kicked me out of the company by the improper means, breaking the contract and even though causing great harms to me. In reading the scandal of the restoring the cross, the author Mark D. Baker pointed out that the cross is not only a symbol of God's forgiveness of sins, but also a bridge to heal the alienations of human relationships. This makes me reflect when we choose to bear resentment, we are actually continuing to widen the rift between people. Maybe the experience made me painful, but through the prayer and reflection, I choose resentment in the front of God to release it. Reconciliation does not necessarily mean condoning the other party's behavior, but choosing not to let your heart be bound by past injuries. Part 3, and reconciliation with the world, the wisdom of the balance and mission. Reconciliation is not only personal and interpersonal, but also our relationship with the world. When reading the consideration as God's mission of the Lausanne's conference, I deeply realized that reconciliation is not only a bridge for the musician, but also a positive mission. As mentioned in the article, reconciliation is the core of God's comprehensive salvation plan, and salvation requires to practice their spirit of reconciliations in the complex environment of society. We live in imperfect and even corrupted world. The gospel reminds us that our greatest mission is to spread God's love, not to prolong meaningless conflicts. As Paul said in the Romans 12:18, if you can live at peace with everyone, this taught me to use wisdom to deal with circumstances that cannot be changed. Yeah. And when facing with injustice and the conditions, as long as it does not violate the Bible and God's words, we can choose not to control them head on, but to seek the most appropriate way to respond under the guidance of the prayer and the despair. This is a balance between the wisdom, weakness, or compromise. Part 4. The gospel and the power of the reconciliation. The gospel makes me understand that God is a God who accepts us unconditionally, and He embraces our failures and the weakness with infinity love, and also teaches how to embrace others with this kind of love. As Walter mentioned in the article, reconciliation is to give new meaning to trauma through the power of memory. In God's grace, I see that the hurt and the failures I experienced before are not meaningless. They are the tools God used it to shape me. And back to the entrepreneurial experience mentioned earlier, I now finally see that the heart, even broken, the hurt even there, but was just part of God's training of my faith. So from the other angle, I once had to the freedom I have right now. I understand that the cross is not only our refugee hand, but also the starting point of the rebuilding our lives. Part 5, action and discussion. Finally, I would like to raise a little bit right now the few questions to invite everyone to think together. To talk about that. First, have you guys experienced the trauma or injustice in your life? How have this experience affected your understanding of faith? Second one, in relationships with others, does the consideration means give up? And how do we find a balance between the truth and love? And third, how can we practice God's mission with wisdom and peace in this imperfect world? Make the conclusion, and consideration is an important practice of the gospel. It helps us to start from inner repair and extend it to our relationship with others and the world. This week's reading makes me realize that deeply, and it means it's not a sign of weakness. but a mission of action with love and wisdom, no matter what kind of the trauma and contradictions we facing before now. But God's love is always our greatest comfort and strength. Make we find peace in the gospel and become the light and salt of His world with love and wisdom. Thank you for watching, and I'm looking forward to hear your story and opinions in the discussion. May God bless you all. Thank you.